Hi guys, this is Jesse James, and we're going to talk today about city setups and how to set up your city. This is going to be kind of brief video, just kind of point you in the right direction. There's basically three kind of standard types. There are different variations of this. You're going to encounter different things. You're going to encounter things that work, encounter things that don't. But there's kind of you'll get an idea for it. I'm going to show you my city, a couple of others, and just basically explain the three basic types and why some people set it up that way. And also, I'm going to go and explain to you how to do things. Now, we're going to drop in on a guy here. He's probably going to get pissed at me for this and go ahead and farm me. But this is a pretty good example of basically a city that has enclosed towers in. This is what you want to do if you're not going to defend your city at all. There'll be no troops defending. Basically, you want to encapsulate all your towers here, and when you have a perfect encapsulation, when you drop your troops will not advance. The idea being is, lots of people will come by when they're farming, just drop troops and let them go. And then the troops just sit there and do nothing. Meanwhile, the towers just drill on them. And this is what you're going to do when you have a big fat zero and you're not defending. And it's a really good way to do. It's a really good way to set up the city. Another variation on this would be if all these towers were out here and all the buildings were clustered up here, and that would be a lot. That's kind of an old. These were both kind of old school thoughts, but that would be where you would use, when you drop a troop, it'll basically go after the towers. So if you have all the buildings that are up at the top all encapsulated, and then down in the open area you have all the towers scattered out everywhere, when somebody drops their troops, the troops are going to instantly bolt for the towers, and they typically won't go after the troops that you have there to defend. So when you go up and attack him, his troops, the first thing they're going to want to hit are those towers, and it's going to give you the opportunity to go and hit them back. Those are basically the first two, the most basic. That's when the game first started. I mean, this is way back before the refresh glitch was even fixed. But those were the two basic city setups. This is getting more and more popular, and what this is basically this is my city. This is encased towers in. I have a little hole here, and that's matched up with the spawn point of where the troops will actually spawn. I like this city setup because it basically works both defended and undefended. You'll see I have one tower way out here. I can actually move this tower and actually put it back so it's completely encased. So if somebody drops their troops, they'll go. But I do like to keep, I keep this tower out here, and I keep it low for a reason. If you see, my encasement is perfect, but when people come and they drop troops on the side, if they don't control them, there's actually room for them to get around right here. And so what they will do is their troops are going to rush in from the side. Their troops are going to rush in from the side here, around here, and they're going to come after this little tower right here and destroy it. And as soon as they destroy it, because my encasement is perfect, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second, they're just going to stand here and they're going to let this whole front of towers, both of these rows of towers, just basically drills on their troops. And it's kind of funny when you see somebody who's less experienced kind of do that. Somebody who's more experienced is actually going to control their troops, and they're going to drill in from the side. But they have to keep coming. I have a very tight formation. The shorter range towers are to the center. The longer range towers are out. And basically I have the hit points. I have the stronger towers towards the center, so as they drill in, it's harder to harder. These crossbow towers are a little less powerful than these longbow towers, which are less powerful than these turret towers. But the turrets, they have shorter range. These have the same ranges, so as they go in, it's harder to do. If I wanted to, this will actually drop into this little hole. I could move this up and drop that into this little hole, but it's actually worked out for me well this way, and that's why I set up my city this way. My one weakness, and the one thing I don't like about this, is all my res is out on the side. So somebody who's really good and really knows what they're doing, they'll just drop some scorps here and just take out my res on both sides and then retreat. They'll go ahead and farm me and take a couple. In this city, it's not as drastic because I don't keep a whole lot here. Most of it's in my other city, and I'll explain why I do that in the managing large accounts video that I will eventually do. And I have both cities kind of set up the same way. Second city, I keep the towers low. Eventually, I'm going to upgrade these, but I do these for you guys. If I ever want to let you guys farm me, I go ahead and put the troops in this city so you encounter low towers. Or if I'm going to Valor bump you, I Valor bump you in this city so you don't have to deal with high towers. So you're welcome. I do that on purpose. That's for you. So we're going to run over here to my alt, and I just use the alt to hit. I don't have many towers. I don't have it set up in any type of defense situation or anything like that. Basically, this is well hidden. I don't have it in any alliance right now. The city is not at level 10. It's at level 9, so it's kind of hard for people to find, and I kind of like it that way. But basically, when you're setting up and you say you want to do an encasement, the encasement has to be absolutely perfect. You have to basically, when you're laying out things and you're matching them up, you have to basically, you have to zoom way in, and they have to match up just perfect like that. That'll work right there. That also works right there. That's perfect. Oh, that will be perfect in just a second here. Okay, so that's perfect right there. This may take a second. I'm actually trying to find one that won't look up. Okay, this one won't line up. See that right there? See how it's like just go. If I just come up so it lights up, I get that little space in between right there. Even that little teeny tiny space. Even that little teeny tiny space that you see right there, that's enough for troops to run through. You can't have that at all. And sometimes it will just glitch up and it just quite won't let you do it. It won't do it. And it gets frustrating. The only thing I can say is, you're going to have to refresh. Try doing it in full screen. Try doing it in half screen, zoom way in, try moving the city in from different directions or stuff like that, but they have to be absolutely perfect. They have to touch perfect. There are sometimes, I don't know what it is, it just won't quite marry up. It's like it won't grab, and if that happens, keep refreshing until it does. Unless it's perfect, it won't do it. Cities take some time to build. They really do. The city setups you saw, those that you saw in my other cities, I probably spent like 3 hours. And see, after I refresh, now it lines up. Now it'll line up. I think. Yeah, so that did line up. So that's perfect. Troops can't run back into here, but just that little space, even the teeniest, tiniest space, troops will get through. Now, what I have seen some people do is I've seen some people set up where they have the spawn point here and they keep it in here, but they actually purposely leave that little groove and basically they let it go all through the city. And what will happen when people do that is they drop the troops, and then the troops will literally line up to them. They can't go shoulder to shoulder, so they line up and they literally go through that groove in a single file line. And it allows the archers that they're controlling and keeping in the center of the formation to just literally mow them down. That's also a valid thing, but there really isn't any right or wrong way to set up a city. It's kind of personal choice. What works best for you. I've come across hard cities to find where they've basically had all the buildings out in the center here, and from top to bottom they were clustered so you couldn't get through, and then right out on the very sides you had all the towers on either side, so no matter what you dropped, whether it was Scorps or that, as soon as you dropped something you were in range of the towers and you would definitely take losses no matter what. Uh, you couldn't drop it down on the bottom because people can't drop to the top. So people, if you cluster it at the bottom and then do towers on the sides and towers on the sides, it doesn't matter how good you are at farming. That's the hardest city to farm. You'll at least take out something. You'll get some kills. You'll take out some of their scorpions. And I may do that just to piss off Fluffy. I haven't decided yet, but I actually spent a long time. I probably spent about 4 or 5 hours on each of these cities, but they're perfectly lined up. There's no lines on them. There's no spaces on them at all. It doesn't matter what level, it doesn't matter what row you take out. There's always something else they have to drill through to get through it. It takes a bit of skill. The city can stump some players, but with the elite players, they find this city actually pretty easy to destroy. But for 85% of the people out there, this is a pretty hard city to defeat. But no city's infallible. There are ways to defeat everything. It's just a matter of doing it. Like the towers out here. If I really wanted to get at that city, I would probably drop large formations of mounted hunters. Just use low-level, fast-moving troops to get in there and hit the towers as quick as possible. But there's really no right or wrong answer. There is a couple of ideas and methodologies out there, and it's just a matter of having a little bit of thought process behind your city. Like you saw in the alt, just simply having things laid out, wherever they go doesn't really work. But this will work, and that's kind of 2 minutes on city setup. Hope it helped and hope it points you in the right direction. Again, there's really no right or wrong answer. Have fun.